Respectfully, Britney Griner was in a Russian prison. You would think that somebody who is now free, back in America on home soil, would not have too much to complain about.
He's a man. He will do some things to you. Yeah, before you could think about grabbing him, there's things he could do. So let's be careful about stuff like that. But people laughed about it and they shrugged it off, not recognizing the fact that you had individuals within the transgender community. Britney Griner made news. And Britney Griner made news the other day because why? She was simply traveling through an airport for a Phoenix Mercury game. She was traveling through an airport. I believe that was in Dallas, Texas, although I'm not sure. I believe it was. And a person described as a YouTube provocateur named Alex Stein, and it was at the Dallas airport, I was correct, on Saturday, is seen shouting in a video that she hates America.
I was correct. On Saturday is seen shouting in a video that she hates America. Sports. Commentator Stephen A. Smith recently dropped some major claims that completely flipped the WNBA conversation. And trust me, he didn't hold back. He's not the type to play games with rumors or half-truths. When Stephen speaks, it's usually because he's sitting on something serious. And this time, it's about Britney Griner and a so-called DNA bombshell that's got everyone shook. Before we get into what those alleged test results say, let's rewind and talk about the one thing fans have been whispering about for a while. Britney's behavior on the court. Once Stephen aired her out, things started clicking for people. The intense aggression during games, the reckless elbows, the heated rants online, and even some seriously problematic comments. It all started lining up in a way that has fans raising eyebrows. And right at the center of it all is a question that's been floating around for years. Is Britney really who we think she is? Now, more and more people are starting to connect the dots. And let's just say it's not painting the cleanest picture. So, what exactly did Stephen expose? And why has the WNBA kept quiet? Over the last month or so, Griner's been catching some serious backlash from fans, especially after her run-ins with rising star Caitlin Clark. But the real twist came during an episode of the Valuetainment podcast where Stephen A. and the other guests laid it all out. They called her out for being overly aggressive, ungrateful, and questioned whether she truly deserved the spotlight she's been given. But the part that really set social media on fire, Stephen allegedly had documents claiming to reveal details about Britney's DNA. And let's just say it wasn't what anyone was expecting. When it comes to Caitlin Clark, now I've taken hits because I was calling it from day one. You got people that are resentful towards her, but not she. It's really not about her, guys. It's about what she represents. How did he even get this info? Well, reports claimed that during her time in a Russian prison, Britney had to go through a series of medical evaluations. One of them supposedly included a DNA test, something that never made it to the public. Britney Griner found herself at the center of international headlines after being sentenced to 9 years in a Russian penal colony. The charge carrying 2 vape cartridges with hashish oil, which Griner claimed ended up in her luggage by accident. Her arrest happened back in February at a Moscow airport, and after months in custody, she was officially sentenced on August the 4th. Not long after, a photo started circulating online showing what appeared to be a CNN broadcast about Gurier's situation. The image featured the CNN logo at the bottom right corner. On one side, you see Gurier standing behind what looks like the bars of a holding cell. On the other, CNN anchor Linda Konsenkate is shown mid-sentence. But what really grabbed attention was the caption running across the bottom of the screen, which read, DNA test ordered by officials to determine male or female prison. This particular screenshot shared in an August 6th Facebook post racked up nearly 200 shares in just 5 days. It didn't take long before people began questioning its authenticity and spreading more rumors online. According to these claims, the results revealed certain biological traits that could explain her unusual performance on the court. For years, fans have noticed that Britney's athleticism seems to go beyond what you'd expect, even for a player of her size. But what really got people talking is how intense and forceful her gameplay has become. Fellow players have reportedly gotten hurt just from scrimmages. Others leave games with bruises after run-ins with her elbows or shoulders. Caitlin Clark herself has taken some hits that had people questioning whether it was still just part of the game, while Britney walks off the court without a scratch. Sure, basketball gets physical, but it's strange how it's often Britney dishing out the damage while rarely taking any herself. And now people are starting to wonder, does she have a physical edge that the rest of the league doesn't? See, there's a reason why men and women's sports have always been kept separate. It's not just tradition, it's biology. Men and women have completely different physical traits, from strength and speed to endurance, agility, and even how fast their bodies recover. So, when one athlete consistently shows an unusual level of power and resilience, people are bound to start asking questions. And that's exactly what fans started doing with Britney. As the internet dug deeper, a lot of strange moments people had once brushed off started looking suspicious. Take that one video, for instance, the one by the pool that went viral. People were confused why Instagram didn't take it down, considering it showed what appeared to be a woman exposing her chest in public. Now, just to be clear, this isn't about being judgmental or questioning anyone's personal identity. But let's be honest. If a random woman had posted that exact same clip, it probably would have been removed immediately for breaking the platform's rules. And here's where things get even more wild. Stephen A. Smith somehow got his hands on documents related to Britney's background, and he didn't keep them under wraps. Stephen A. Smith appeared on Valuement podcast yesterday with host Patrick B. David. The two spent quite a bit of time discussing an Instagram post about WNBA player Britney Griner. Stephen shared his thoughts openly, and let's just say he didn't mince words. The whole thing left fans stunned and confused. Remember when we mentioned Britney's time in that Russian prison earlier? When Steven brought that up, it felt like he was holding back, like he wanted to say more, but knew he couldn't. Britney was part of a highly controversial prison swap traded for none other than Victor Bout, also known as the Merchant of Death. That deal raised a ton of eyebrows. People started wondering, was there more going on behind the scenes than we were told? Respectfully, Britney Griner was in a Russian prison. You would think that somebody who is now free, back in America on home soil, would not have too much to complain about. According to Steven, yes, he hinted that Britney's release may have had less to do with justice and more to do with keeping certain information under wraps. He seemed to be suggesting that if Britney had stayed in that Russian prison any longer, the world might have discovered her full medical history, not the version that was cleaned up to get her into the league. An arms dealer that wanted to American citizens, according to the reports, that's who they let out. MHM. For her. He said clearly she's not remembering who they let out to get her back. The Merchant of Death. Who wanted to citizens according to the reports. You would think that you would be smiling. You would be ecstatic. You would be happy in something like this. Wouldn't faze you at all. The fact that it does is disturbing. I'll leave it at that. Fans in every sport. She described the fans. Yeah. It doesn't matter what sport you are. It doesn't matter what sport you pick. That's how fans act in every arena. In every arena. So, and then when you clearly she's not remembering who they let out. And that wasn't the only time Steven called her out. He slammed her for a comment she made about the WNBA and its growing fan base. If you've seen it floating around online, you know the one. WNBA games used to be a chill, quiet place. You could bring your laptop and relax, maybe even get a little work done. But now it's like there's large gatherings of people watching us from the stands. Some of them are yelling crazyish about what they're seeing, putting unfair pressure on us to score, like we're there for their entertainment, and that's pretty gross. She didn't stop there. The whole thing is toxic. I saw a guy with his daughter in the crowd, both of them yelling. Couldn't hear what they were saying exactly, but it was either about my performance or some light racism. Definitely one of the two. Those comments really didn't sit well with fans, especially considering how much the league and its supporters have done to rally behind her. Honestly, that whole post felt like something ripped straight out of a comedy skit. And to be fair, it was originally shared by a meme page known for posting satire. But here's the twist. While it may have been meant as a joke, it weirdly reflects how a lot of people are actually feeling right now. Especially now that Stephen A. Smith is stepping into the spotlight with some heavy accusations. You'd hope someone on their teams would have done a quick fact check before going live, but that didn't seem to happen. And what's more surprising, neither Patrick or Stephen appeared the least bit embarrassed by the mistake. According to Stephen, if that meme truly echoed how Britney feels about the WNBA, then this isn't just her showing disregard for the sport. It's a slap in the face to the fans who support her and to the players who give it their all every time they hit the court. But here's where things really start heating up. But honestly, Stephen A. wasn't the only one. Because of whom people started to raise eyebrows. Not too long ago, a video showing WNBA star Britney Griner speaking courtside stirred up old conversations about her identity, setting social media ablaze. Many people seemed caught off guard by the deep tone in her voice. But let's be real, this wasn't the first time this kind of reaction has surfaced. Britney's voice